BTS news today. The sun over Manhattan shimmered just a bit brighter that morning, as if the city itself was aware that something iconic was about to happen. It wasn't just another day in the world of high fashion. It was the opening day of USA Fashion Week 2025, and all eyes were on one name: Jimin. As whispers swirled through the corridors of luxury hotels, grand venues, and bustling backstage areas, it was clear this wasn't a regular runway event. Dior had something special planned, and it involved BTS's very own Park Jimin. Ever since the French fashion house subtly teased a surprise appearance during their headline show, fans and industry insiders alike had been speculating. Could Jimin, who had previously fronted campaigns and stunned in editorials, be making his long-anticipated runway debut? The answer came in the form of a flash, dozens of them, in fact, as the blacked-out Dior SUV pulled up in front of the venue. Wearing a custom-tailored Dior ensemble that merged modern luxury with a whisper of classic Parisian elegance, Jimin stepped out like he was born for this. The crowd erupted, not just the fans who had waited since dawn behind the barricades, but photographers, stylists, influencers, and even veteran fashion editors, all momentarily stunned into awe. There was something magnetic about him: the confident grace, the delicate precision of his movement, and the slight but captivating smile that hinted at both humility and power. The venue, a converted industrial hall in the heart of New York's meatpacking district, had been transformed into a futuristic garden of light and structure. Mirrors lined the walls. Soft clouds of fog floated along the floor. It was a dreamscape, surreal and romantic, and Jimin was its centerpiece. Dior's creative director, in a press briefing just before the show, had referred to him as the embodiment of the brand's modern renaissance. And that became impossible to argue once he stepped onto the runway. The moment Jimin began to walk, the energy shifted. The room quieted. Time seemed to slow. Dressed in a soft ivory suit with a cinched waist and flowing silk scarf, his silhouette moved like music. Every step he took was deliberate and fluid, a dance between structure and softness. He didn't just wear Dior, he became Dior. This wasn't a performance, it was a statement. And the statement was clear: Park Jimin was no longer just a global pop icon. He was now a certified fashion figure, a muse, and officially Dior's new face for their men's haute couture line. Backstage after his runway debut, the scene was controlled chaos. Models changing, stylists shouting last-minute instructions, assistants running with garment bags. Yet Jimin stood in the center of it all, calm and radiant, as if untouched by the surrounding frenzy. His stylists fussed over his next look, a midnight blue ensemble adorned with subtle crystal embroidery. While cameras continued to flash and journalists waited their turn, Jimin politely addressed a group of young models, offering them words of encouragement with the warmth and grace he was known for. One of the standout moments came during the finale, when all models returned to the runway. Jimin walked beside the creative director himself, who held Jimin's hand up high in acknowledgement of the collaboration. It wasn't just fashion, it was history. The applause was thunderous. A standing ovation followed. Dior had never seen a response like this in recent memory. Later that evening, headlines flooded global media outlets. Jimin sets the runway ablaze in Dior's couture debut, read one. From K-pop star to fashion royalty, declared another. Social media exploded. Hashtag Jimin4Dior trended in over 60 countries. Even rival fashion houses posted congratulatory messages, a rare gesture in such a competitive industry. That night, The after-party was held at an exclusive rooftop lounge in downtown Manhattan. Security was tight, the guest list even tighter. Only the creme de la creme of the fashion world were granted access. Editors-in-chief, luxury brand CEOs, Hollywood A-listers, and of course, members of BTS who had flown in to support their brother. Jimin arrived fashionably late, now dressed in a minimalist black Dior suit with silver accents that glimmered subtly under the city's lights. The atmosphere was electric. A live string quartet played reimagined classical versions of pop hits. Servers floated through the crowd with champagne and intricately plated hors d'oeuvres. Conversations buzzed around Jimin's performance on the runway, with stylists analyzing every detail of his walk and gestures, while executives from other fashion houses looked on with a mix of admiration and strategic curiosity. Inside the VIP enclave, Jimin was seated next to some of fashion's biggest names. The editor of Vogue, who had once called him a living sculpture, toasted him warmly. "You've changed the rules tonight," she said, raising her glass. "Not many can bridge two worlds like you just did, and make it look effortless." Jimin smiled, his voice modest. "I just wanted to do my best. Dior gave me so much trust. I didn't want to let them down." But no one in the room had any doubt. The talk wasn't just about his runway moment anymore. Murmurs of a long-term Dior contract floated between conversations. Rumors hinted at a new capsule collection designed with Jimin's input, an East meets West fusion that could revolutionize Dior's male couture line. Others speculated he would soon be seated front row at Paris Haute Couture Week, not just as a guest, but as a contributing creative. And then came the moment everyone had been hoping for. Jungkook arrived, clad in a relaxed yet sleek monochrome look. Dior, of course. Jungkook walked in with quiet confidence. His presence ignited another flash wave of cameras, but he barely flinched, his eyes scanning the room until they found Jimin. A knowing grin passed between them. Their reunion was a highlight in itself. Fans had been treated to countless performances of their friendship on stage, but seeing them together in this elevated, glamorous world, it was something else entirely. They embraced, shared a few words that no microphone could catch, and laughed quietly, instantly breaking through the glittering formality of the night with something real. Jimin gestured for Jungkook to join him at his table. Moments later, they were seated side by side, drinks in hand, animated in conversation with stylists, editors, and even Dior's creative director, who seemed visibly energized by their presence. It wasn't long before photographers caught the two in a candid moment, heads close together, laughing openly, their bond radiating warmth amidst the high-fashion cool BY midnight. The party began to shift. Music deepened, heels came off, and industry veterans let themselves breathe. But Jimin and Jungkook remained gracious, posing for a few more pictures, exchanging kind words with every person who approached. Jimin's charisma wasn't just in how he looked, it was in how he made others feel. The next day, New York woke up to a storm of headlines and front-page features. Every major fashion outlet featured Jimin's Dior debut. The new king of couture, declared Harper's Bazaar. GQ ran a headline that simply read, "Jimin." The article below was a full 4-page spread, part review, part love letter, to what the writer called a generational talent breaking boundaries once thought unshakable.